For Creamer Media's Polity, I am Shannon de Rehove. I am at the ISS in Pretoria with Dr. Johan Burger, a senior researcher with the Governance, Crime and Justice Division, discussing South Africa's police force. A draft green paper produced by the Civilian Secretariat for Police has recommended that the various metropolitan police services in South Africa be placed under the command and control of the National South African Police Service. But you oppose this proposal. Why?
Well, there are a number of reasons. First of all, I don't think this is going to solve anything. Keeping in mind that the Green Paper argued that it is because of the high level of corruption, ill discipline, inefficiencies and so on in the Metropolitan Police Service. One is tempted to say, who are they, SAPS, to point a finger at anybody. And certainly by integrating these police agencies into SAPS is not going to solve their problems. It's just going to add to the problems that SAPS has. So the second is the reasoning isn't sound in terms of the arguments put forward in the Green Paper. It's obvious from the reading of the Green Paper, and if you go back to the policy conferences of the ANC, see that these were policy decisions taken by the ANC. So clearly the Green Paper was only trying to give effect to the policy decisions of the ANC. And I don't think that in itself is enough reasoning to justify this. And then thirdly also, I think it is a deliberate misreading of the Constitution. So I just wanted to put those issues right.
What do you believe are some of the challenges that a single police service would face?
Well, first of all, I think, by adding the numbers of the Metropolitan Police Service to SAPS nationally will just make this this organization so lumbersome. It makes it very big, very difficult to manage. And then added to that, they will be expected, because remember, the Metropolitan Police agents are supposed to take care of local issues, the enforcement of municipal bylaws and those things. So when they no longer exist, the national police will have to take over those responsibilities. Will they? I don't think so, because it would not be in line with national priorities. SAPS conducts their business in terms of national priorities. I'm certain very few of those local priorities will make it to the list of national priorities. So, and then in addition to that, all the problems that exist within Metropolitan Police Service in terms of individuals who are not suitable for policing, that are corrupt, that have criminal records and so on, will now be part and parcel of the national police. So it will just aggravate the existing problems that we have in SAPS. So it's not solving anything, it's just aggravating SAPS's problems.
Is a single police service not mandated in South Africa's constitution?
No. Well, not in the way that the Green Paper says. Keep in mind, and if you look at the Potsani case in 2001, the Constitutional Court judgment, on what single means, it's obvious that single was included in the Constitution as part and parcel of the transitional time in the mid-90s, where we had 11 different states in South Africa. Every one of these states had their own police agency, had their own prosecutional service. And the Potsani case was precisely about the prosecution service. And it made it very, very clear that the only reason why single was then included in the Constitution was to say that all of these 11 agencies should come together in a single agency for South Africa, because we're a single nation now, a single country, no longer 11 different states. That is the interpretation. Another proof for this argument is that whereas Section 199 and 205, when read together, provides for a single national police service, Section 206, which the Green Paper never referred to, makes explicit provision for municipal police services. And in fact, it goes on to say that an Act of Parliament must provide, not can or may, it must provide for municipal police services. Now that piece of law is completely ignored in the Green Paper process.
Are there any positive proposals outlined in the draft Green Paper on policing?
Well, there are a number of positives in the Green Paper. I think the Green Paper recognizes the fact that the previous White Paper of 1998, which wasn't a bad White Paper itself, it became a useless document in the sense that it was shelved. Many people refer to this or this document when it was convenient to refer to this document, but very little, if anything, in that White Paper was ever implemented. So there was some recognition in the Green Paper that we need to put together a policy document that will actually lead to implementation of those ideas. And I think although the single police service and a few other issues were problematic in the Green Paper, I think there were more good in the Green Paper than we may sound like propagating, but more good than bad in the Green Paper. And therefore we actively support the process. And for that reason we are still supporting the new process that hopefully would lead to a White Paper on police, hopefully in the course of this year.
When are you expecting the White Paper on policing to be published? Has there been or will there be a process of public comment?
I'm not certain whether this will be circulated for public comments. I suppose it would. Keep in mind that the Green Paper was published for public comments. But to get back to the White Paper, the process is already underway, and we are actively involved. We are invited by the Police Secretariat to participate in the process, and we appreciate that. And we also appreciate the fact that they appreciate that we sometimes take a different view to things, and this is what's good about this process, is that everybody is given the necessary space to have different views, to argue their views, and to perhaps convince each other. So hopefully my arguments in this article about single national police force or service will be enough to convince them that we need to approach this differently in the White Paper.
In general, how best can the problems of corruption, brutality and poor service delivery to communities be rooted out of South African policing?
Well, that is the big question, and I think what we would like to see is a number of things. First of all, the National Police Service needs to sort out its leadership problems, and there clearly are a number of leadership problems. There's a lot of infighting. There's a lot of accusations against each other. There are cliques that exist in the top leadership of the police service. I mean, when in the history of policing in this country, have you had a situation where something like 6 generals were on suspension all at the same time? And then many more are facing criminal charges and are being investigated. I mean, the National Commissioner Riabiega is being investigated for defeating the ends of justice. There's criminal investigations against the Provincial Commissioner in the Western Cape associated with this charge against the National Commissioner. So all of this is happening at a time when the police are struggling, facing a number of crises. So unless and until these leadership problems are sorted out, the police will find it extremely difficult to focus again on their main problems that relates to corruption and so on. So that is the one area. The other thing is to look at the recruitment process. The Minister did announce a new recruitment process, a new recruitment drive earlier this year. And this links to previous statements he's made in this regard. So it looks like he is serious about improving the whole recruitment process, that we get better quality people into the police service, because that is where we start. You know, is the type of person that we recruit. Get the best quality people into the police service, and that will make a huge difference already. Then, of course, the training needs to be adapted. You know, the Green Paper did admit, for example, that there's an unwritten policy in the training colleges, a pass one, pass all approach, which is never good. It's never going to deliver good results in terms of the quality of the recruits that pass through the training process. So this is also hopefully one of the things that will be addressed. And then the anti-corruption unit. This is a must-have in the police. Jackie Selebe got rid of this thing in 2002. It's now fairly obvious why he did this. It was not in the interest of the police or in the interest of the fight against corruption. So Ria Piega, towards the end of last year, did announce that they are in the process of re-establishing an anti-corruption unit within the police service. So we think all of these things and a few others in combination would certainly make a huge contribution towards addressing police corruption.
Thank you for your time. That was Dr. Johan Burger of the ISS discussing the argument for a single police service in South Africa.